All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 140 and 47 pound division where Teofimo Lopez got Terence Crawford coming all out of his mouth, criticizing him for his career and basically implied that he is a overhyped. And let's just hope that that means that Teofimo Lopez is looking to go to 147 to fight him. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 140 and the 147 pound division, where I just saw a bit of an interview from Teofimo Lopez, where he was talking about Terence Crawford, the 147 pound undisputed champion. Teofimo Lopez himself having been a former undisputed champion, despite what the Haney bots have to say about it, and is currently if you want to talk about it, the lineal champion at 140 pounds. Teofimo Lopez doesn't hold anything back on Terence Crawford. But before I get into the details of it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really makes a huge, huge difference to the channel, especially to the people that support in the super thanks. So, hey, help sponsor the channel in the super chat. Thank you, Matty O, for doing it, and thank you for everybody else that does. But let's get into this. Teofimo Lopez is one of the most talented fighters in boxing, and at a very young age, he is one of the more accomplished fighters in boxing. Definitely a talent, and definitely last year in 2023 really achieved something by becoming a two-division champion and beating the former undisputed champion at 140, Josh Taylor. And he did it as an underdog, and he did it in, I think, man, spectacular fashion, man. Just really showed that he had a lot in his arsenal. Outfought Josh Taylor, big come up out of that. Prior to that, his big win was against Vasily Lomachenko to wind up holding titles in all four major sanctioning bodies: the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and the WBC. The WBA said he was their number one champion. The IBF said that he was their number one champion. The WBO said that he was their number one champion. And the WBC said that he was the number one champion. But for some reason, people don't want to act like he was undisputed. He was not undisputed. But whatever the case is, very good career. But I got to say, this time he comes out talking outside of his neck a little bit, ripping at Terence Crawford on the heels of Errol Spence Jr. saying that he had to have cataract surgery on his eye, and making a statement after that, or at least typing it, that why you think I was getting hit with so many jabs and hooks against Terence Crawford, right? Now, Errol Spence Jr. did not say that's the reason why he lost that fight. I don't think too many people think that reason and that reason alone is why he lost that fight. Terence Crawford is an exceptional fighter. Just that night proved he was a better fighter. We'll see what happens in the rematch. But hey, man, there's not a lot you can say about Terence Crawford in the ring. Being an undisputed champion at 140, being a champion at 135 and an undisputed champion at 147. Come on, man. The guy is he's an undefeated fighter. Think, what has he got? 7 or 8 knockouts, 9, 10 knockouts in a row in championship fights. Come on, man. What can you say? Well, Teofimo Lopez can say, look, man, he was like, look, man, Terence Crawford, look at who we fought. Errol had a torn cardiac. Man, Teofimo Lopez said he had a torn cardiac. Obviously means cataract, not a torn cardiac. Cardiac would be your heart. Cataract is your eye. You can have not a torn cataract either. He had cataracts in his eye, not a cardiac in his eye. But you get the point. He talks about David Benavidez when David Benavidez had a torn leg. He talked about, obviously Sean Porter, who was later in his career, Kell Brook, who was washed up, Amir Khan, who was washed up, and basically saying, look, man, the dude's got asterisks on his wins. He ain't believing it. I can't co-sign that, cannot co-sign that at all. However, no better way to handle that than to try to fight Terence Crawford. And I'm telling you right now, I would love to see that fight between Terence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez. In fact, I'm so sick of the 3 of the 4 belt, and more than just 3 out of the 4 champions at 140 pounds, being more than a little bit prima donna-ish. I hope none of those dudes can make 140 for very much longer, and they all wind up at 147 pounds. I also hope that Terence Crawford stays at 147 pounds and does not go to 54 pounds, so that he can fight these guys that are a type of fighter that Terence Crawford has not fought, which is guys that are in their prime, fresh. Nobody can say anything about him, okay? With Errol Spence Jr., people could say, whether people wanted to say it or not, I didn't say it. I understand other people said it, but most of the people that said it were Terence Crawford fans before the fight, saying that Errol's been in a massive car accident. He had not fought in 15 months. He was an inactive fighter. He wasn't living the fighter's lifestyle, all of that stuff. But if Teofimo Lopez goes on up there to 140, Devin Haney goes on up there to 140, I don't really care so much about Rolly. Matias, to me, Subriel Matias is the only guy, the only champion at 140 pounds that is acting like he'll fight anybody. Devin Haney is not trying to fight anybody. His father made up some story about Peter Khan asking for $4 million with a fight with Subriel Matias. He hasn't said Teofimo Lopez's name since Teofimo Lopez is at 135. Rolly Romero ain't acting like he's trying to fight anybody. He's in and out of his vacation or whatever he's talking about. And Teofimo Lopez ain't talking about fighting any of these guys at 140 either. I say move up and wait and let's see what goes on. If you guys have been paying attention to boxing or even just mildly into the history of boxing, there's a truth that people should keep in mind. For a very long time, and by that I mean from 1790 to about 1980, most of these, and that's about 200 years, most of these weight classes that people claim that they are champions of didn't even exist. 100, and if you want to know which ones they are, they're the in-between weight classes. Start at the top. Heavyweight. What's before heavyweight? Cruiserweight. Cruiserweight didn't exist. Light heavyweight. After that, right? What's before light heavyweight? 168 didn't exist. 160 existed. 150 didn't. 154 didn't. 147 existed. 140 did not. 135 pounds existed. 130 didn't. And go all the way down to the bottom, which is half of the weight divisions in boxing are really and truly, in a historical context, catch weights. These 135 pounders, if they were fighting in the 1960s, 1970s, all the way up into the middle of the 1980s, would have had to go to 147 pounds also. And guys like Terence Crawford wouldn't have 154 to go to. He would have to go up to 160. Since he ain't really trying to go to 160, he would have went from 135 to 147. Just like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, all those guys can wind up going from 135 to 147. If you bring in Gervonta Davis into the conversation, he started at 126 to 135. Very reasonable weight jumps for these people. Let's see it go on so we can see what's actually happened with these guys in the fights. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. And I ain't buying what Teofimo Lopez is talking about. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.